Hi, Christy. I'm getting ready to start the live stream, and I sent you the co-host invite.
Good morning.
Good morning. Give me 1 second. I'm starting the player.
No problem.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning Empower Yourself Monday with my VP, Terry Michaels, and our special guest, Kristie Wells. Giving 2 seconds, we're going to have Terry's going to do our morning breathing exercise to get our Monday going. And again, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And looking forward to chatting with Kristie. Our communication director, she might pop in, but I think she already had some other plans, but she wanted to swing by and say hi to Kristie. So, okay, Terry, this mic is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Valentine's Day. Every day should be filled with love. So this is just kind of like bringing it back to us about how much love is important and needed in this world. Let's start by closing your eyes, and you're sitting with your hands in your lap, shoulders relaxed. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Again, inhale in through your nose and out through your mouth. And one more time. Inhale in and exhale. Feel the relaxation coming down from your toes, and it's coming up your legs. As you're gently now breathing in and out through your nose, that relaxation is coming up from your toes, up your legs, to your hips, coming up to your throat, your shoulders, down your arms, and feel the stress go down your arms and out through your fingertips. As you're going up, relax your jaw, relax your face, relax your crown. Think about love and how much love you can spread out into the world today and every day. Smiling at people as they walk by, opening doors, just whatever you can do makes the world a better place. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale out. Slowly open your eyes. Namaste. May the divine in me honor the divine in you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Terry. I appreciate you for doing the breathing exercise. I think it's so important to start the day with this type of therapy, especially mindfulness. So again,
Mhm.
everyone, thank you so much for our Empower Yourself Monday. It's our episode 6. So good morning, Mrs. Vienna. Good morning, Brent, and good morning, Amy. Thank you for being here. Before we start, I want to go ahead and say hi to my good friend, Kristie Wells. I've known her for a long time. I'm just thrilled that she's able to join us today and that Women Communication will be honoring her. She is our communicator for the week and she has some incredible information. But before we start, Kristie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know I have your bio, but I used your bio for the promo, but I really want to hear from you as first. What have you been doing? And I mean, you've been I think, I met Kristie through Social Media Club, South Florida, and she has started an incredible Web 2 social media. And now here we are going to Web 3. So I'm excited for her to come here and share her thoughts on everything. Hi, Kristie. Good morning.
Good morning, Tanya. Thanks for having me. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I'm Kristie Wells, and I've spent most of my career on the marketing and customer experience side of the house. As Tanya mentioned, my husband, Chris Hewer, and I started Social Media Club back in 2005, and we're fortunate to meet such passionate advocates such as Tanya and others that helped Social Media Club grow into 350 chapters around the world and exposed us to hundreds of thousands of people who wanted to help shape the web, which was an amazing time. I don't know that we'll ever see something as cool as that period, but I think with the launch of the emerging tech around Web3, we've got a shot, and we've got a shot of actually possibly building a better web this time. I think one of the things that we found when we were heavy in the world of social media back in the mid 2000s is we all had super high hopes of all the great that it'll do, and it's had its ups and its downs, and sometimes social media is not always good, but we can talk about that later. But anyways, I'm a marketer and customer experience person at heart. I love connecting people, ideas, building amazing products. I'm grateful to be here. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Yeah, let's dig in, Tanya. What you got?
Well, before we start, I also, I remember you went to work for Ancestry.com, and back when you took over that project, I was .com is huge. Like
It
after you leave
is.
them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great opportunity. I'm still really good friends with a lot of folks at that company. I joined Ancestry back in 2013, and actually at that time, that was when I stepped down from leading Social Media Club because I had done that for 7 years as my quote unquote side job, which was always a full time job. But when I joined Ancestry, the opportunity to run their global social media program and drive social support online was just too good to pass up. And it was amazing, got to utilize the power of social media to connect people with their family history, and was able to tell some incredible stories, uplift some of the experiences that people were having, connected the world pretty much around those tales that come through our ancestors all the way through the people of today. And it was great. I was there for 3 years, learned a lot, pushed the envelope a lot, and it was great. It was a really good time.
And then you went on to work. I mean, pretty much Christie has her own uh, digital agencies for 15 years. And you literally have been in the forefront. And also, as a women communicator, what are your thoughts about, Web 2? And then now we're going to Web 3 because women communication, our goal is to bring our members into Web 3 because we're very excited about this.
Yeah, and I should say, as a communicator, I'm actually horrible, as you all are probably noticing now, about communicating my background and what I've done in my career. But yeah, I think it's interesting. Like I said, I've been in marketing and customer experience most of my entire career. And while my titles and my roles have been, changing over the years, everything that I do is really about making connections, helping people tell their stories, really kind of honing in and ensuring that consumers can buy the right product at the right time, and it's the right value for them. And that's just where my sweet spot is and where I just really enjoy focusing my efforts. I have had my own agency at Hockneyum we launched that in 2007. We run a lot of client projects through that, large and small. I've been doing that with my husband, Chris Hewer, as I mentioned earlier. And I've also, worked in a lot of different startups, directly and indirectly. I've worked with a couple of corporations. Ancestry was one of them. Built some influencer programs for folks like Southwest. We did a great influencer program, bringing people into the Napa region and exposing them to really intimate music shows while they enjoyed great food and wine. Worked with Lenovo a little bit during CES, where we brought influencers in the social media space to CES and got them to, expose early on in some really cool experiences that Lenovo and we partnered on. And I think it's interesting, as somebody who's a techie and in marketing, I'm not really a techie. I'm in tech, but I wouldn't call myself a techie. I know enough to try to engage with the products, utilize the products. Social media and a lot of the Web2, was so amazing because I think it gave people a voice early on, and the technology was a little difficult at starting. Like, I think about people who were blogging back on technologies like Typepad and some of these others, and then thankfully like Matt Mullenweg and the crew created WordPress, which made blogging a lot easier for a lot of us. And then you had Facebook and Twitter, and then eventually Instagram and YouTube, and you started having all these platforms come out where communicators can really take ownership of sharing what they were working on, utilizing their own voices. And I think that was super powerful. And I think that's the interesting thing about the Web3 technologies that are coming out. You see, and first, I guess, for folks at Web3, it's all encompassing right now. I mean, you'll hear people call it the metaverse. You have folks who have been in crypto. You have people who've been building on the blockchain for 7-8 years. You've got NFTs seem to be the hottest ticket in town right now. And just to be totally open, like, I am learning as fast as I can. I've played in the world of crypto for years. I haven't done well. It's a learning process. I don't sit on top of it as much as I should. But I think it's interesting when you start looking at how things like NFTs can help artists who have not made money over their career actually all of a sudden, be able to launch a series and become millionaires overnight. And I think this is incredibly powerful for people to be able to take ownership and have the ability to control, how their work gets out there. But it's also the wild, wild west. It's really kind of chaotic. There's, the whole point of Web3 is it's decentralized, which there's positives and negatives to that. And, there's unfortunately some underbelly right now too, where people are calling it rug pulls, right? It's a terminology where people are like getting scammed out of money because they bought NFTs that weren't legit, or they got into these altcoins that were, pump and dump schemes. And so I think that there's a lot of education, much as what we saw when Web2 launched, long before we called it social media. I think there's going to be a concerted effort of all of us coming together to make sure that people understand fully what they're getting into, the questions they have to ask to make sure the projects they're supporting are legit. And really just kind of learning what the potential of these tools and this technology can actually bring forth.
Yeah, I myself, Tanya Schultz, has been, I started researching NFTs and got involved in Twitter Spaces last February. And it has been an incredible journey listening to all the different craziness and how people got rugs and how people, it just, I when something is too good to be true, you really have to double check. So Christy, looking back on your experience in the Web 2, are you happy we're going to be leaving soon?
It's interesting. There's a level of comfortability in the Web2 space because it's known now, right? I mean, I remember when we were launching Social Media Club back in 2005. It actually started as we started calling it Brain Jams, and we eventually called it Social Media Club. But took us 4 or 5 years to really sell the benefits of social media to a lot of businesses, right? A lot of us individuals got it. We understood it. We were like, playing with the technology, collaborating. But it took a long time for the businesses to adapt it and really understand the investment needed to support a social media campaign, building a community around you. And actually, still to this day, I don't think community managers get half the credit that they deserve or the compensation, because that's a hard job. But I think with Web3, I'm a Libra, and so I'm sitting in the middle at the moment. My scales are a little balanced. I'm excited about it and the potential of it, but to be honest with you, there's just so much unknown about it as well. And I see Jennifer Navarrete is here. She's actually helping us with the Web3.1 Conference, or that we'll be talking about in a few. But I think the thing that's interesting is watching folks like Jennifer, who launched Social Media Club San Antonio. And it's fascinating to see how she's embraced the new technologies with what she's doing with, launching her podcast on the blockchain. And now she's working with helping other other creators look to collaborate and build a really tight community where everybody kind of gets paid if they, collaborate and help produce these shows and the content. And so I think that there's, again, so much opportunity to do some good with this. There's opportunity for people to collaborate with one another that maybe didn't have the ability to do so before, but there's still so much unknown, and the technology is not ready for the, mass media right now. It's geeky. There's, a lot, it's all inside baseball right now. And so I feel like it's, again, a lot of education needs to happen over the next couple of months, next couple of years, to really understand, like, what is a DAO, right? What do I need to know about the blockchain? What is really an NFT? Coinbase just launched a commercial at the Super Bowl yesterday where they're like, hey, scan this QR code and get $15 in Bitcoin. And that's really cool. But it's like, what am I going to do with my Bitcoin now? Right. I think people are like, yeah, sure, I'll get into it. But what does that really mean? And so I think that there's, it's going to be an exploration, and I'm excited about that. But I'm also like, one of our friends keeps saying, like, why do I need Web3? Why don't I just need better companies? And so that's Howard Greenstein actually said that the other day. And I just thought that was brilliant, because he may have a point. I don't know. I mean, it's still early, and we're going to keep digging in, but it's an interesting time to be alive, as they say.
I so agree with you. And, I remember Social Media Club for South Florida. I mean, with Alex DC and Murray doing a lot of education. I joined the board of Social Media Club South Florida back in 2009. I think I did it, 2009, 2010. But I really, education is such a key component. I mean, back then we wouldn't, I'm sure when you and Chris started Social Media Club, no one, for you to say, oh, we're going to share everything that we talk and eat, and, people probably looked at you like weird, and then the thought of like, doing everything online probably was extremely weirder back in 2005 for you guys starting out. But I just remember all the education that was provided, and it, and here we are today. If you mention the word social media, and if you're not doing it for your business, you are so way behind. And so now going into Web3, talking about the blockchain and talking about the DAO and all this stuff, have you guys set up a educational curriculum after your Web 3.1 conference, or what are your?
So first, yes, that's the intent. What we're actually working on is, and we're in discussions of, should we have a DAO? It's like, to DAO or not to DAO. But first, what we're trying to do with the Web3.1 Unconference, just to kind of give people a little information about that, is it's taking place on February 28th and March 1st. So it's coming up quick. We've got 2 weeks out. But the idea is, and this is, we're doing what we did with social media back in the day. And to your point, like, when we first started, we had the benefit that we were based in Silicon Valley, where a lot of these conversations were taking place. They were all offline, right? So people were coming together at these web events and really learning from one another too. And we just saw an opportunity to extend that, and luckily had some friends in different cities that wanted to kind of help collaborate and build on this and share these lessons we were learning quickly back in 2005, 2006. But the whole point of that was finding the people that were early, finding the people that were willing to have these conversations, to share what they were learning, to help others, learn as well. And so we're doing that now with Web3. Is we're trying to find the folks that are already building projects, that are already invested in these solutions, and pulling them together at the Web3.1 Unconference to kind of start sharing those insights, right? Like, what are they learning? What's worked well? What are the things people have to be mindful of? And, the hope is that this is the start of, an educational series where people can have a resource they can come to. There's a lot of content available about Web3 already. I mean, if you just, even on Twitter alone, use the hashtag Web3, you'll drown in data. And so our hope is that we can try to curate the best of the best, like who are really great educators, even if they never call themselves an educator, but they're sharing what they're learning, they're building things live and in the open. And can we just use their resources and direct people to them? Because we don't need to recreate a whole bunch of content. We just need to point people in the right direction and say, we know this is a trusted source for you to go and learn about NFTs. If you're really curious about podcasting on the blockchain, Jennifer is your person to go check out, right? I think that there's an opportunity to curate those resources, bring people together on a regular basis, and really start building that out into a community of educators, influencers, and advocates, and then continue to spread that out. And it's the same format we did with Social Media Club. And I have no idea if this will be successful or not. We have no expectations for where this is going to go. We just feel passionate about starting those conversations now because I'm personally overwhelmed. There's just too much to learn at any one time. And so, like, for me, I'm just like, I just want to learn more, everything I can learn about NFTs. And that's all I'm going to focus on over the next month, right? But then it's like, okay, once you do that, what's next? And so the hope with the Web3.1 Unconference is that we start these conversations, we start people coming together, we start them sharing what they're doing, what they're working on, and who they're being influenced by. And then that continues to grow out. And the great, we're trying to make this where everybody can participate. It's an ethos that we believe strongly in, that you should be able to participate whether or not you can pay to do so. And so we've split the conference up into two sections, where one is a leadership summit, where there's going to be pre-planned sections and sessions of people coming and sharing everything from, building on the blockchain, what open standards really means, do we really need Web3? And then on March 1st, we're actually going to have an unconference, which I don't know how many people are familiar with an unconference, but it's pretty much an open space. You don't really set the topics in advance. You show up the morning of the event and you say, I really want to know about the metaverse. Who else can talk about the metaverse? And everybody kind of raises their hands and you go off in a room and you talk about the metaverse. And so we're going to build that day up, and it's free to attend. So we're hoping that everybody will just go to web31.xyz and sign up specifically for the unconference, because I think that's where a lot of the magic is going to happen. That's where a lot of people who are going to be able to come together about a shared passion or topic, start, discussing what they're working on, the questions they have, what they don't get, where they feel changes need to happen. And hopefully that'll start the seeds of a really lovely collaboration in that space and connect people who may not have been connected before.
Yeah, I actually pinned some tweets up on the nest if you would like to check it out, everybody. Because so I pinned, and also the speakers. You have incredible speakers too for this event.
Yeah, I mean, we're blessed. Like I said, we are working. So Chris and I are working with our dear friend Tina Wee, who launched Follow the Coin magazine. I think she did like 7, 8, 9 years ago. I mean, she's been in the crypto space a very long time. She has very deep connections in, especially the Web3. And between her network and ours, we've brought together. I'm gonna say I'm really proud of the diversity of the topics and the diversity of the speakers. We have people talking about, IP and NFTs. We have people talking about DAOs. We have people talking about decentralized finance. Privacy and identity is going to be a big one too. There's a lot of concerns of when everything goes on the blockchain, everything is visible, and so, there's there's a need for anonymity on the web. And so there's some concerns about what does that really mean if, everything I do is available on the chain. What does that mean for my privacy and identity? And so I'm really looking forward to those. We've got like Bram Cohen too, who's going to come in and talk about his Chia project, about this should be more green, right? Web3 is a lot of energy suck with regards to, it can be, you hear a lot of people talking about Bitcoin mining and these projects and what they do eventually to the climate or the environment. And so we want to say, how can we build these tools and have it not be as negatively impactful on Mother Earth? So there's going to be some of those tracks too. So there's a little bit of tech, there's a little bit of community, and there's a big space for creators to come and just see what they can do as well. To, if I've been an artist, for 10 years and I'm not as successful as I'd like to be selling my creations on the web, there's a lot of opportunities now that the Web3 tools are making available. And so we're like, how do you do that? Let's make sure you have a path, and hopefully you can, fund your retirement in that respect. So yeah, I'm, and then we have some general just leadership tracks. Like, what does it take to lead into these companies, into the Web3 or into the metaverse? What does that look like inside your organization? And so we try to bring a little corporate in with all the tech, because I think you have to, again, have a balance and make sure that you're thinking about this holistically and across the entire organization, not just singularly into one area.
I'm really excited about Brian Solis being there.
Yeah.
I love hearing him. He's an incredible speaker. If anybody ever gets a chance to hear him.
He is. He's a dear friend. And so he's going to come in and talk about like the future of Web3, what this kind of means at a high level of, again, what do you need to be asking? Do you need to learn about these techs? And if you do, which do you need to learn about? Because again, don't try to learn about it all. It's too much. It's sensory overload. Again, I recommend focusing on one. If you just want to take the blockchain, like, why is the blockchain super important? Or is it NFTs, or do you just need to learn about crypto and what this actually means? Decentralized finance, you're going to hear a lot about that. And so, like, is crypto ever going to overtake the dollar? I think that these are big, interesting conversations that we can have, and, just hopefully help people get a better understanding of it and ask the better questions over time.
Well, we're gonna host an event for you tomorrow night. I couldn't really publish it because that's the only thing that I love Twitter Spaces, but we can only do one link at a time. So when I'm done with this, I'm gonna publish my other links. So tomorrow night, we're gonna have a second event for have Chris on also, so that he can share his thoughts too. And Kristie, with this in mind, with the Web3 and everything, do you feel that women will be able to adapt to this a lot quicker than we would in Web2? I mean, Web2, I mean, gosh, when Instagram came out and Facebook, you see all the mommy bloggers coming on strong, and they're like, pretty powerful. And now we're getting into the Web3 and the blockchain. Do you see that happening for women?
Yeah, I think I will say Web 2 was an incredible opportunity when you just mentioned mommy bloggers, right? Like the power of blogging and being able to share, a day in a life and all that too, was just what an incredible platform to be able to give women. And, organizations like Blog Her, our friends, Lisa Camelhort Page and Lisa Stone, and Jory Desjardins, like, launched that. And it was just incredible, right? It's a fantastic platform. And I do think you see there's several NFTs right now that are women focused and women led and women focused. And I feel like that's a space that's really just prime for women to dive into and participate. And the communities that I've seen are really lovely and welcoming, and it's a great area. I would love to see more women come into blockchain, DeFi, on like a lot of attorneys too, like come in and start talking about what compliance and these impacts of government have. um, you know, you're dealing with tech, right? And so we've always had a problem with finding a lot of places for women to make their mark. It's definitely a boys' club. But I do see, and I have seen over the last year or so, a lot more women's voices get lifted up inside of the Web3 world. I think, especially on the creator side, you're going to see women flourish. I do hope that they get deeply entrenched and learn, and that's why I think it's super important. I feel the blockchain of all things, like NFTs for me is cool because it's very visual, and I love those kind of artful pieces. But I just feel like of all the tech to learn right now, just start reading about the blockchain, understanding what that really means. What is smart contracts, like what is like. And again, follow Jennifer, podcaster here. Follow her, what she's doing with putting her podcasting up. I keep lifting her up because she's just such a dear friend and doing so many amazing things. But I'd love to see people start testing the tools. And I do hope that women dive in deeply here and start exploring it. I think there's mass opportunity for them.
Well, Jennifer we actually featured Jennifer. I think she was episode 2. And she got us all excited about the streaming on the blockchain. Let me bring her up and see if she can come up and say hi real quick. Invite to speak. So it's about 10:30. Again, this space is only going for 60 minutes sharp. There you go. Hi, Jennifer.
Hey there, boy, so glad. I had to set an alarm for this, and then all of a sudden I looked up and I'm like, jump in, hurry. I didn't want to miss a thing, and I'm super glad you're recording this. But I'm just sitting here. I'm like that little dog who's nodding his head constantly because I'm sitting here listening to you and Christy, and my head's just nodding like crazy. I'm like a bobblehead. Because the reality is there's real power in gathering around something that is so new that when you talk to folks about it, they look at you like you're speaking Klingon. And it's kind of a little frustrating on that aspect. But an event like Web3.1, the Leadership Summit and Unconference, is a great place for us to all speak the same language. And it may be that I know a little corner of Web3 and somebody else knows another little corner and somebody else knows a different corner. But when we get together, all of a sudden our corner grows and we know more. And that's what an event or an unconference is all about, is that learn, share, grow in that way that we can all amplify. And it's not just the knowledge, it's also the people. There's the people that are moving this forward, but they're moving this forward in their little corner of the world. And until we get together and know who we are, it's a real challenge to kind of feel like there's a larger community doing this at the same time. And because we're all in discovery mode, right? There's so much to learn. We can shortcut that considerably by learning and sharing and growing together. And Christy mentioned this, the overwhelm aspect of Web3. And oh boy, howdy, it's overwhelming. We can't do it all. But there are some things, we don't know what we don't know. But until we get together to learn what we think we know and what we think we should know, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, I had no idea I needed to know that too. So there's real value in sharing our research so that we can, as a community and as individuals, can expand that knowledge. So I'm sitting here, just like I said, I'm the bobblehead shaking my head. Love what you're doing.
But also with the I mean, you really think about it, like because I got Gino is in the space right here too. He and I are doing NFTs movies. We want to do a film festival on Twitter Spaces and talk to a filmmaker about, are they creating DAOs? Are they doing anything for their project? So those are and then also, involved in the NFT music concert. So, and that's another thing too, like musicians, filmmaker, content creator, anybody that wants to be part of the conversation can do it. And that's the exciting part of this. And Kristie, will you guys be doing like another? I don't know. I just had this big, I think big. So I think I see this vision of you guys like a few years from now, and you'll be having like a bigger event than South by Southwest. Because think about this.
Yeah. It's funny, Tanya, that you say that, because like Chris and I have had lots of conversations. When we launched Social Media Club, we never meant for it to actually be an organization. It was just kind of like an idea. We wanted to launch it into the community and have everybody go off and do their own thing. And then quickly learned that people wanted a little more structure, right? So then we built an organization and 501c3 and went from there. But, I honestly, I don't know what we're going to do with this. I just know that we're passionate about learning new things, passionate about connecting people, making sure that, there is an educational path for folks. It's just something that we're built that way. That's just something that comes naturally to us. And it's exciting as we learn. We want to share what we're learning with other people too. And it's the trainers type thing, right? I'm learning every day. Like there's a lot of people around me that I'm just like I'm trying to soak it all in. And so, I know there'll be more than one event. The first one again is coming up on the 28th and the 1st of in 2 weeks. I know we plan to do more. Like I said, we're talking about possibly, building a DAO that will help bring together the educators and influencers and advocates, so we can co-create together, right? Ideally, it's like I've got a project I'm super interested in, and I met, say, Tanya at this event, and I know that you're passionate about NFTs and music, and that's something I want to build out. Like, let's do something together. And so, for me, it's just really fun to be able to foster those connections. And whether that keeps coming through, events like this or other opportunities is yet to be determined. But I just think that it's really important that we try to at least learn as much as we can about the technology, the pros of it, and why you feel like you're gonna, you need this either in your business or to learn it personally. But also, again, understanding the downside of it, or the things to be cautious about, right? So you don't get the rug pulled out from underneath you and you don't lose your investments. I think that's super important. So yeah, maybe we'll be the next South by Southwest, but I don't have those grand illusions. I feel like for me, I'm happy in, building communities and doing this, and we'll just see what happens going forward.
Well, I'm very excited for you. I'm like, stick with this. Jennifer knows me. I'm like all over the place, but she knows me. I bring it all back.
Well, listen, Tanya, if you want to help build this thing to that size, let's do it. Like, I think for me too, is I because we have full-time jobs, right? So for us, it's always about balancing our passions and our community work with also making sure that, our day jobs don't get negatively impacted. And so I'm always a little more reserved in that respect. But yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to help build this thing out, I mean, we need the help. And so I would absolutely welcome folks to come in and just say, even if it's just, I want to build more around this area, right? Let's do it, right? Let's connect our communities. Let's figure out who we need to pull in, and let's take those steps.
Well, when it comes to NFT music, I already have the list of people that I'm going to tell them to attend, because we'd love to be one of the, to be part of the Unconference, but also to get all the incredible musicians who already minted their music into NFTs and be able to share their thoughts, and to get them all in one space. That would be incredible.
That'd be amazing. And again, the Unconference is free to attend. So it just requires pre-registration. So I would just tell everybody to go to web3.1.xyz, pick the Unconference pass on March 1st. And yeah, let's bring everybody together. I mean, we have another friend, Cecilia, who's doing something similar with helping some artists, mint NFTs. And so I think it'd be incredible, Tanya, to bring those groups together and have them share their experiences, what they learned in the process, what they would do again and what they wouldn't do again. And hopefully that helps inspire others, and that we can kind of pay that forward. And then, hopefully they're learning new things too. So we'd welcome everybody to the Unconference.
So I'm going to go ahead and open the mic up if anyone has a question, but I also want to say hi to my friend Gino, who is, we do a space together for film. We call it, it's a film festival, but we're hosting it on Twitter Spaces. And we're talking about NFTs and blockchain and all the different things that Web3 is about. So, hey, Gino, good morning. How are you? Thanks for being here.
What's going on, Tanya? Hey guys doing? Good morning,
Hey, Gino.
everybody.
Yeah, Gino is a content creator. He does a lot of stuff on the NFT from publishing, he published an ebook on how to make your own NFT and different things too. So, and he's also a musician.
Excellent. Well, we'd love you to come to the Unconference, Gino, because I think, again, with your experience, being able to share what, the processes you went through, how you got started, some of the favorite people that you learned from as well, that we can kind of build in our little resource guide, right, of people that we think would be interesting for others to know about and learn from, and, maybe collaborate with.
Awesome. I would love to.
Oh yeah, he's going. I'm making a list actually. I pinned all the links up there. I like I pinned the blog. It says the Web3 talk we need to have, and I also actually you were doing it at Hopin, which I love, hosting the Unconference at Hopin on the Hopin's platform?
Yeah, it's a great platform. I think the thing that's interesting is, we used to do these events face to face, right? But in today's day and world, this is going to be 100% virtual, and we are hosting it on Hopin. And I love that because of the opportunity to have all these different breakout rooms. And so, Chris, my husband, who's this is his idea, this is his baby, but his hope is that we can not just have like keynote presentations or even breakout sessions, but also use our friends technology, Lawrence Coburn, who has Twine, and actually foster these little one-on-one networking sessions too, one-on-one and also group. And so the hope is that we can kind of play with the format a little bit to give people lots of different ways to connect with one another. So you're not just sitting there on your computer, watching a bunch of talking heads. Like, it's really important for us to take the engagement aspect of an offline conference and bring that online so that people can get a lot out of it. It's still going to be up to you what that day looks like, right? If you don't participate or you don't give to it, you're not going to get as much out of it. But I'm excited about it to kind of play with it. It's the first time I've used this service, but it's amazing potential. And
Oh yeah, I know a lot about them. I actually there's them and Run the World. In 2020, I was talking about it, and everybody thought it was kind of strange. They were like, "No, we're not going to do that." And I'm like, "Yes, you are. We're going to go do this. This is going to be a virtual, and it's great. You can have cocktail hour, and you can have fireside chat, and you can like talk to each other, and it feels like you're there." So Hopin and Run the World were the two companies that I was looking into, but Run the World responded to me first. Hopin responded to me later, but by that time I already fell in love with Twitter Spaces because, like, for 2020, I spent the whole time just writing up my own. I guess I would call it an unconference, but more about for women empowerment, utilizing this type of platform. So yeah, this is a really great platform that you're doing this, and and their technology, the sound is so good. Oh my gosh, I think it's better than Zoom, actually.
Yeah. Well, I think, the last 2 years have kind of shown us, so many of us were kind of holed up in our own spaces, and we're missing a lot of that socialization, right, that we used to get at events, whether you'd go locally or you traveled for them. I did always look forward to South by Southwest each year, that took place in Austin, because it was the one event that I knew I could go to that people that I knew from around the world would also make an effort to come to. And it was great. So we're hoping to try to build that same global impact on that same type of event, but in a virtual space for now. Maybe that will, Tanya, to your point, go face to face one day. Right now, we're going to stick with a virtual platform. But I do hope that the way that we're crafting it does give people a lot of opportunity to connect with others, right? And lots of different formats. And so I'm excited about that almost as much as I am about the content and the topics that are going to be spoken about.
Well, down in South Florida, we're doing the hybrid. We're in the process of working out some details to do hybrid. So, because down here we're all meeting again because we're in Florida. But I'm meeting outside that. We have the church that I work with is it's a transhumanist church, so it's really about technology and science and health. And it's on 2.5 acres of land, and it has 2 cafeterias. So Emily Taffel, who is the communication director, and Terry Michael and we have been looking at it, and so we're planning some different unconference. Maybe we can try. I want to talk to you guys later, but I want to see if I can do this hybrid on your March 1st date with the unconference, just so kind of get the women involved, the ones that want to show up, because we're not expecting a whole bunch of women, just probably 10 of us, get 10 or 12 sitting outside outside in this, and with the cafeteria, the doors open, so the wind just goes right through the cafeteria, so it's pretty safe. And then the church has installed all this type of stuff, so the ozone and all that stuff, so at night it turns on. So yeah, so because and everyone's going to have masks, and so because we want to be safe, but yet we need that connection. Down here is such an important thing for us. I'm sure it's important for everyone else, but I think I might just do something on March 1st, and then bring the ladies together, and then talk and kind of have the launch of it. And we love to be part of whatever, any upcoming Web 3.1. Like I said, we supported Social Media Club back in 2008 when I became the president. So now today, I would love to support whatever you guys are doing, and I'm loving the Web 3.1 Unconference.
Well, thanks, Tanya. I mean, both of us truly appreciate your support, and that's great. And I would love, if you're getting a group of women together, let's just get them all registered, and let's, set up a session. And I think that's the benefit of, the way that we're doing this is that, you don't have to sit and attend the whole thing. That if you register, we're going to be, you can float in and out as much as you want to, which is good. And so I think that there's an opportunity for you to bring them in, meet other people, get them connected into that community. And then when you can carry that offline as well, that just kind of solidifies some of those connections. And so I think that's a lovely thought to be able to do.
I'm excited about that. And then before we have about 15 minutes left, if anyone wants to grab the mic, go ahead. We are streaming right now on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook group, my personal page. So we're streaming everywhere. And then we're going to be uploading this. And I've gone around and told everybody about voice.com, Jennifer. I made an account. So we're getting ready to upload all our episodes up there. I'm so excited.
Nice. I love it.
I'm looking at your schedule on web3.1.xyz/events. And so you guys have a Twitter space coming up too, right? Friday the 18th?
We do. And this is actually Jennifer's our host, and she's been super gracious to pull us together every Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific to just kind of talk about the event itself, who should attend, what we hoped they get. Last Friday was great. We had a couple of our speakers join in, and I thought it was a lovely conversation where they, again, talked about, do we need all this tech? What's wrong with what we have now? And then others are just like, there's so much opportunity. How do we break this out? So Jennifer's hosting these spaces for us. We're doing them every Friday for the next 2 weeks to lead up into the event. And again, it's just our way to just try to help educate people to understand the thing with this event. This is fast and furious. We put this 30 days from pretty much, or 45 days from ideation to stage. So it's super tight turnaround. We just really felt, let's just get this done. Let's, hopefully bring people together as the start of the building of this community, and then we'll launch again more events after this. But again, the idea is just to get the conversations in our own communities started. A lot of our friends weren't even thinking about Web3, to be honest with you. Like they might be dabbling in crypto, and they read the news about NFTs and all that too. But most of us, when Facebook made their announcement about metaverse, we're just kind of like, I mean, we were in Second Life 15 years ago, which was a virtual environment, much of kind of like what Zuckerberg's trying to create with metaverse. Of course, he's going to do a lot more, but so part of this just feels a little familiar, and it feels like it's old technologies with the new front. And so I think we're trying to peel that back a little bit and just really get a better understanding of, what really needs to happen, what's really broken with the web today, what these technologies can do to potentially solve for it. What are we still missing? Where are there gaps? But the most important thing for us is not also while we talk about the tech all day long, it's really important for us to remember that there's humans on the internet. And so we want to make sure that no matter what version gets launched, that it's human-centric, not tech-centric.
Yeah, I was in Second Life too. That's what I thought this was. I
We're
was
kind
like,
of
when's the
dating
Linden
ourselves when
dollar?
we
Am I
talk
gonna
about
make
these
the
things.
Am I gonna make the Linden dollar so I can buy my Nikes?
Well, and it's interesting because it's funny. Like we have an Oculus at home, and I'm starting to use it a little bit for some exercise and boxing and things, which I actually really love. But I'm not the kind of person that can spend a lot of time in a virtual environment. It just doesn't make me feel good. Where like my husband can do just the opposite. He can spend all day in it because he's very creative, and so he's always exploring and checking things out. But I don't like the feeling of a headset. I just don't like it. I don't even wear my own glasses. I should wear glasses, and I don't even wear them because I hate things on my face. So like I'm probably one of the few that is not going to go running fast into the world of VR. And so, I'm not going to be the target market for a lot of those things. So for me, it's like, okay, that's not an aspect I want to explore, but there's other pieces that are interesting. Like I said, I'm a daughter of an artist. So it's like the NFT side of the house is really kind of cool to me. And I'm really fascinated with the blockchain too. I just think that there's incredible potential for transparency that will come with more adoption of that technology. But I'm also, to that same point, how much is enough? So I think that's just, again, you're coming down to what is going to make sense for you personally. Where's the areas you need to focus in on? How is it going to, the key for me right now, and I think the last 2 years have really just kind of made me focus, like, how is this going to improve my life? And that's super important to me. It's like, it's great to learn about it and feel like I'm part of the in crowd, so to speak, right now, which I'm not, because I always say I'm a couple years late still on Web3, even though we still have 3 or 4 years before mass audiences take in. But for me, it's like, is this really going to give me a better quality of life? And that I actually don't know right now.
But it's going to give us a lot of opportunity.
It will. Opportunity is great. And I'm not saying that that's not. I'm just saying, for me personally, it's like, how is this specifically going to make my life better? And maybe it will put more money in my pocket. And so that's great. Or maybe it will connect me to more people, to meet folks, that are innovating around this space. And so I love that, because I'm a relationship person. So I love meeting more people. But I guess the jury's still out for me. It's like, we're my husband's actually, and I hate to keep referencing him, but like, he's all in. Like, this is really, he's in it. And so it's a constant battle I have of how deep do I need to go to feel good that I know enough, versus I need to be innovating in this space. I need to be pushing, the ball uphill. Like, I really need to fight for this. Like, I fought for social media. Like, back in the day, that was really important to me. I saw immediately how it was going to help me be a better communicator. And I'm like, in, and no looking back. I'm not quite there yet with all of this. But I'm supportive of it. And I want to be challenged, and I want people to kind of show me what they're doing, and how I just need to keep thinking about how I might actually put this into practice.
Yeah, I think that's the exciting part about this. So we have about 8 minutes, and I want to go ahead and round up the space. And I appreciate you, Christy, for being here. I'm excited. I've been excited. I think I'm just so happy to, I think I that's how I felt when I met Alex DC. And we talked about social media, and I was like, oh my God, I've been talking about this, and everyone thinks I'm strange for talking about this stuff. And I talk about, back then I was talking about apps and building apps, and people thought it was weird. And all my friends, I actually lost a lot of friends over this, but then I discovered at the social media club, South Florida crew. So we all became really close, tight friends, like Maria de Los Angeles and I. We ended up doing a show together for Social Chats. She was my co-host. So, I think going into Web3 is exciting, but now meeting and reconnecting with you, Christy, and your hubby, Chris. And then, I'm meeting Jennifer too. I think Jennifer was just, and the thing is, I didn't even know she knew you. I didn't even know. Jennifer and I are talking, and I'm like, oh my God. I was so excited about everything she was saying. And it didn't even dawn on me that she knew you guys. And then one day I saw her in a space with Chris.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's again, anytime, and I love your enthusiasm about all this, Tanya, I really do. And that's where I'm like going, I just need that enthusiasm in food. I think I'm just still I'm a realist. So I'm like always a little hesitant. I charge forward, but then I'm always questioning. Right. But I think that it's being around people who are super passionate about this technology and the potential of it is critical. Right. And we actually need that enthusiasm to help make sure it gets the adoption happen. So I thrilled by that. And that's why I actually want to learn more about like your projects and NFT and the music. Like, I want to learn more about that, because that actually is probably the area where I'd get really excited about. But I also just, I think I'm trying to walk that line of cautious, and just really, I think I've seen a lot in the past. And so I think that's just where I'm just being cautious about it. I'm not dismissing it, I'm not, or discounting it, but I want us to just make sure that everybody goes in eyes wide open and understands what all this is. And I do think you have to learn by mistakes too. So, like I said, like I've lost my ass in crypto. But it's okay, because I learned every time I made a purchase, right? I'm like going, okay, I get this. Like, this is why I shouldn't do this next time. But I think that it's really important for people to keep learning and exploring. And, again, some people will go all in, and some people won't care that the metaverse exists. And that's okay. if they do want to go in, I just want to try to help provide a path that makes it a little less scary, and a little easier.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. And you know, I already talked to my clients already. And at first they're kind of like didn't get it, but then now how I made it more of a simple, like comparing it to the royalty program. I compared that to the DAO and then the tokens.
Yeah.
And then they kind of understood it after that. So, but you know, I look forward to continue to having that conversation and sharing and talking. And like you say, remember when when sharing is caring? I think
Yes.
you guys coined that.
Yeah. If you get it, share it.
And that's
So,
it.
I mean, and that's really important to us. Like, you know, like you and Jennifer are two people that you feel passionate about this emerging tech, and it's life-changing for you in your career, right? And it's giving you a new vehicle to create. And I feel like that's the opportunity to share that. And that's what, you know, was the basis of Social Media Club. And we were very successful in getting people to donate their time and their energy to help educate other people. And I do hope that was what happened with all of this, because I just feel like that's such a powerful thing and builds such strong, deeply rooted community. And that's the part that I actually look most forward to, right? I want to keep meeting people. I want to know what people are working on, and find what triggers them and help lift that. So thank you for letting me share a little bit today too.
Thank you.
You know, it's I appreciate the platform.
No, I really appreciate you. And like I said, I've been talking to National, AWC. Again, our National has been around since 1909, and we have covered like every war there is. I mean, women communication has been part of it, reporting, going into Web 2, and now, you know, I'm getting them all excited about Web 3. So that's the most exciting for myself, to be part with such an old, rich association, and be there for the Web 2 and watching the progress, and now looking forward to Web 3. And Jennifer, go ahead. Did you have a?
I wanted to just add to what Christy is saying and what you are saying. Other than human connection that I'm discovering on the blockchain, it's about ownership and earnings, or as it's called on the blockchain, rewards. And that for me has been really impactful, because you don't have to qualify, apply, and be accepted to earn the rewards on the content you create. And so my realm in the blockchain is really on content creation. And that to me is such a powerful thing. When I hear from folks in Uganda who say all I have to do is make $150 worth of the whatever blockchain token that they're on, and I can quit my job and I can be great. That's huge impact because of the blockchain, because of the token is the same price here as it is there, as it is anywhere else. Their cost of living is different. But I just hear those stories and meet those people, and I just feel even more excited about what the blockchain can do for humanity, for people across the globe. And then I'll also say that success leaves a trail. If you're listening to this, I want you to know that Chris and Christy successfully grew a global leadership organization that educated professionals into what was not an industry, but became an industry because of part of the work of what their organization and the people that they gathered around them did. So if you use social media right now for your business, for your cause, or just for fun, then we really have these early adopter pioneers to thank for helping to plant the seed and water it and letting us all be part of building that garden. And I go back to success leaves a trail. So the Web3.1 event is the beginning of the next thing. And when I became a chapter leader of Social Media Club, I was able to educate my local community. And the impact of what I did because of being part of that organization is still seen and felt in my city today. So when I see what Chris and Christy are doing, it's so easy for me to see that the opportunity to make an impact locally, which will have a global impact for us all, it's right there. Now, is it today? No, it's like Christy said, it's probably, a few years down the line, but it is something that is coming whether we want it to or not. So we can either be part of it now or you can be part of it later, because it's still early. And so you don't have to take action now, but if you're not ready to take action now, it's still a good idea to learn. And I think the Web3.1 Unconference is a great first step in learning and connecting.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for both of you for being here. And Christy, thank you. Before I let you go, can you tell our listeners how to get a hold of you?
Yeah, actually, it's Kristie Wells on pretty much every platform. and Kristie with a K and an IE, just to be difficult. And, I'd invite everybody to join us for the Web3.1 Unconference. It's February 28th and March 1st. You can learn all about it at web31.xyz. Thank you, Jennifer, for your kind words. Thank you, Tanya, for giving us a space to have a conversation. I look forward to continuing it tomorrow with Chris, who's definitely way more passionate. And you guys will jam on that, I'm sure. But I'm just thankful, and I'm thankful for everybody who participates and gives to one another and, lives with that learn, grow, share philosophy.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. And again, if you please follow us, and we'll follow you back. And AWCSF is in all social network. And we appreciate everyone for being here. And we will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. for our chat about Web 3.1. We're going to be actually, we're publishing a press release. Twitter doesn't let you have two scheduled events, but we want to go ahead and help and feature this project because we believe in it, and we want to bring all our members to be part of this too. So again, everyone have a great day, and we will be back and have fun and empower yourself.